What's that lurking in the woods? Is it a bear pulling its pud? Oh no, it's Nobby on the prowl again. Scratching his back against a tree, then digs a ditch and bends both knees to squat above it, dumping wild.
What up, mongrels? With Christmas being in the rearview mirror, no doubt a load of you have got some nice new camping kit and you want to get out in the woods. You've been looking for all of the Facebook groups and YouTube videos, have been inundated with all the different types of suspension systems, knots, lashings that are required for you to have a successful night. You don't. What I'm going to do today, show you 3 basic, very simple knots to get you up and off the ground. I'll set my complete hammock system up using only these 3 knots, and we will see how they go. The real reason I'm out is, as some of you may know, I'm absolutely sick to death with GoPro, so I've treated myself to a new camera. I've deliberately picked an overcast, gloomy day in the middle of winter just to see how it suffers in low light, how the stabilisation works, and how the audio is. So please let me know in the comments if it works. I'm going to get to where I'm filming and set my hammock and tarp up using 3 simple knots that you can do as well. See you in a bit. So first things first, you're going to need to find a couple of trees the right space apart, give or take about 4 metre, ensuring there is no deadfall above your head that is going to fall on you and create a nasty little lump in the middle of the night. Then what you're going to do is attach one end of the hammock to the first tree. Today I will be using the daisy chain straps, not as daisy chain straps because I'm going to be tying knots with them. It's just a bit of seat belt material, webbing. You can buy this anywhere, it's strong enough to hold. If you get some luggage straps will do. All about keeping the cost down. So the first knot on the first half I'm going to do, everybody knows. You were taught it when you were about 4-year-old, and that is the shoelace knot. So very, very simple. You get your cordage, your webbing, whatever you want to call it, wrap it around the tree, ideally twice if you can, if not once will do. And you're going to come in through the middle and basically tie a shoelace knot. As you can see, that is holding me, not a problem at all. From there, I'll get the end of my hammock, if ever I can find it, and I'll clip it on. Shoelace knot. You'll see in a moment that will hold me. If it is wrapped around the tree, obviously it's a lot more secure. Then we'll go over to the other side. So with this knot, what I've got on one side of the tree, I've got a loop on one end and just threaded it through to create a loop, and I've got a loose end the other. With this I use a Marlin spike hitch using this as the spike. I'll show you how to tie it. Unbelievably easy, works every time. So for the Marlin spike hitch, you grab the loose end of your cordage, place it on top, making a loop like so. Fold that loop over, and the bit that is attached to the tree you pull over to create that knot. I'll show you again. Create a loop, flip the loop over. As you can see there, this bit is in the middle. You pop that through, so now my finger is the carabiner. Boom, tightened. One last time. Create a loop. Flip that loop over. Pull out through the middle, and that will pull tight. And I'll show you how that works with the hammock and carabiner. You can tie this one one-handed. So on one side, I've looped my cordage around the tree. That's nice and tight. I've got my hammock and carabiner just here. I can see roughly where it needs to go. I create the loop over the top, pull the middle through and clip the carabiner to that middle. Again, create the loop, flip it over, pull the middle through, and then I will clip the carabiner to that middle. That will hold. Happy days. So there is your Marlin spike hitch. And as you come over, there is your shoelace knot. And just to prove that there is nothing awry, and that you haven't got to worry about things collapsing on you, there I am in the hammock. Two uber easy, uber simple knots that anyone can do. I'll start hanging my tarp now. So you've got your hammock set up. Now what you need to do is make sure your tarp is central and covering the ends of your hammock. So what you need to do is get your tarp where it needs to be, covering the ends. A decent length of cordage, doesn't matter what you use, paracord. I've just grabbed the first thing I could find and wrap it around the tree. And then, you've guessed it, shoelace knot. Now, the beautiful thing about the shoelace knot is that, one, it is quick and simple to tie, very secure and really easy to adjust should you need to adjust it. Gotta love a shoelace knot. Who don't know how to tie a shoelace knot? I can't say a shoelace knot, but who don't know how to tie one? I have my cord looped round the tree as before. I have my trailing edge this end. As with the Marlin spike hitch, I make a loop over the top of the part that is attached to the tree. I then go through that loop and I wrap once, twice, 3 times. Make sure that pulls up nice and tight, and you'll see a nice little spiral pattern appear there. I then go underneath the part attached to the tree, over the top and through that hole, pulling reasonably tight. So what you can see is there, that supports and holds weight, but if I wish, I can adjust it to make it longer or shorter. So I'll do that again, but attach it to my tarp and then we'll adjust the tarp to the right tension. So again, cordage attached to the tree. I'm going to pop it through my carabiner, get this sort of tight to where I need it, create my loop, go through 1, 2, 3, make that nice and tidy. We'll go underneath, little loop, pop that in there, tighten it up a tad, and as you can see, you can adjust that and make it as tight or as loose as you need it to be. So we'll tighten that up all nice like. Wrong colour cord really to demonstrate it to you, but as you can see, my tarp has got full coverage. Lovely job. Fairly tight as well. You can always run a ridge line and whack some prusik loops on there. Something I'll probably show you at the end of the video. You've had 3 knots. What I'll do now is pop out the tarps and I'll show you how the Marlin spike hitch can be used in a couple of scenarios whilst pegging out. So your hammock's up and you want to guy out the corners of your tarp. As luck would have it, I've got a tree one end, but only one end of the string. This is where the trucker's hitch comes in again. Simply pull it out, wrap it around, go over the top. 1, 2, 3. Neaten that up a bit. Tie that off, and look at that. You can tighten up, loosen, whatever you need to do. Good, isn't it? That'll also act as a drip line should it hoy down with rain. So, Nobby, I hear you cry. I've got a flappy end that I can take right the way to the floor, but I want it in porch mode. How do I get around that? Very simply. Get yourself a stick. Normally it'll be dug in. For the purposes of this, I'm doing it nice and quick like. Make yourself a big Marlin spike hitch near the end of the tarp. Stick your stick through, however high or low you want it. Pull that Marlin spike hitch taut. Dig your stick into the ground or wherever it needs to go. Walk your end out. Get your peg. And then simply Marlin spike hitch. There's the centre bit. Peg in. Boosh. And as you can see, I've got a nice high setup on my tarp that I can get under nice and tight. Simple, isn't it? Simple, isn't it? So again, I've got the corner of my tarp. Just drag a peg out. The tree is just a little bit too far away for me to wrap it around, but I need this at the correct length so I'm not hitting stumps or whatever. Find where that length is. Marlin spike hitch. Peg through the gap, and in we go. Same the other side. Again, absolutely no different. Take it to where you need to be, make your loop, and dig her in. How easy is setting up a hammock? Shoelace knot, Marlin spike hitch, you've got a trucker's hitch, the only 3 knots needed to get around. You could do it all with the right cordage with probably 1 knot, but these are very easy and simple to learn. I know that my instructions are not very clear because of the colour of the cordage. Hopefully I've been able to explain it, because I cannot tell you the amount of times I go out camping with the likes of Martin where it infuriates me the lack of knots he can do. And there's many a good YouTuber that I'm not going to mention any names, but Camp Life Bushcraft, I once watched him try to tie a knot and I needed therapy after. Dan, sort it out. Let's go and see how taut and tight this tarp is. See if it's usable. Up from the ground, you've got your Marlin spike hitch to there, giving you your porch. Very taut. You've got 2 shoelace knots, one holding the tarp, one holding the hammock. You come over to this side. There you got your little, what's it called? It's not focusing, but your trucker's hitch to the end there. Nice and taut. You've got your trucker's hitch there, and you've got your Marlin spike hitch just there. Pretty little setup to go camp. So there we have it. It is worth pointing out that a set of daisy chains, they're not expensive, but should you leave them at home or get stuck or they get broke, if you've got the right sort of cordage that is thick enough and able to support you, wouldn't recommend paracord. Can do the trick, but it depends how hefty you are, you know. Simple knots can get you up in the air and nice and dry. Easy to adjust. There's no need to go through the whole Bushcraft University learning all of the knots known to man. 3 simple knots can get you up in the trees. If you found it useful, give us a like, share, subscribe, whatever. I don't care. I'll happily do more instructional videos, more absolute basic videos, or I won't. It's entirely up to you. Also, let me know how this footage came out and whether or not the audio is any good. As I said, new camera system. I'm liking it so far. Proof's in the pudding with what you guys say. Until next time, ta-ra. Good, isn't it?